Okay.
Just let me know when you started.
It started.
Okay, so that's about as far as I want to go on this. As you can see, we've done a little work this afternoon. I took an orbital sander to the surface of the back so that I could clean it up, and that will help me expose any flaws, checks, cracking in the wood that you can see is starting to happen right here, so I'll have to deal with that. I imagine as I taper this down, then that crack should disappear. It's also going to be tapered down this direction, so not to worry. It turns out that this is 51.5 inches tall, so I'm expecting to lose a good 1/2 to 2 inches as I work the ends of this, but this is about the width that I want this for a flat bow. So at this point I'm going to stop working with the axe and start working with a file and or a draw knife if I can find a draw knife. Draw knives are kind of hard to find, especially the curved blade ones, the ones with the curve going inward. Those usually work the best for this kind of task, but since I don't have one, we'll just have to make do. So as you can see, we've made a little progress this afternoon. I took a little bit more off of the belly of the bow. I'm going to go ahead and sand this down, and hopefully I won't get too deep into the layer of sapwood. Let me just find an area. So the belly of the bow normally would be the hardwood side of the bow. Now the sapwood is always on the outside of the tree, and the hardwood is in the interior of the sapwood. So you can see this ring of sapwood going right here, and then right below that you can see the hardwood begin. Well, it's not consistent, the length of the bow. And so I ran into a problem, because traditionally you want the sapwood to be on the back of the bow and the hardwood to be on the belly of the bow. But since that's not going to be possible, this is going to be an experiment, and so I'm just going to shape it as best that I can, and then towards the end, when I get to the point where I begin to shape the handle and the nocks, then I'll start looking at the possibility of reinforcing those sections of the bow that might be a little thin on the hardwood area. I'm not too worried about the compression of the sapwood, but I am worried about the tension on the hardwood. Now, another part in this process that's going to come much later is the tillering of the bow. For those of you not familiar with what tillering is, it's basically making sure that each limb bends uniformly, and so that at the center point you have an equal amount of string going from the center to your nock. And if either one of those limbs is bending more or less than the other one, then you just simply remove more wood. Now, about removing the wood, remember, you can always remove wood, but you can't put it back. So at this point in the process, I'm going to have to be very careful about the wood that I remove from this, because even though I obviously have quite a bit to work with, one mistake in going too far can ruin the bow. So just to give you an idea, I wanted to show how uniform I got it by hand, just by eyeballing it. Now, of course, it's not perfect, but for an eyeball job, I would say that's not too bad. And of course, the ends are going to need a lot of reworking. And remember, this is going to be a flat bow, so when I'm holding it, which is going to be right about here somewhere, the handle is going to be narrower, and then it's going to flare out. Now these wider pieces are going to be thinner, and as I work towards the top and work this taper narrower and narrower, I'm going to leave these end pieces a little thicker. So it's going to taper this way as well as this way. And hopefully once we get to the nocks, we'll have a good, nice, uncracked piece of hardwood on each end to work with. So there's the progress I've got so far. Thank you guys for watching. I'll go ahead and post more videos and still shots as I make further progress. Click below to say hello. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And of course, I'm always welcome to suggestions. I am an amateur boyer, and so anybody that's got more experience than me, I would appreciate any input. And if you can figure out what kind of wood this is, I would definitely like to know. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.